The story begins when several demons appear out of nowhere in the sky. They are the castle guardians. Vermouth and his 4 companions travel to Hamel, the demon realm, to subdue the demon kings. 3 out of the 5 demon kings have been defeated and there are currently only 2 alive. The wise Senya, the faithful Anise who blesses everyone, the brave Moron, and the foolish Hamel, who is always jealous of Vermouth, are the 4 companions of the great Vermouth. He always considered himself to be his main rival, but no one else did. A demon king appeared from nowhere and attacked Vermouth. Despite saving his life, Hamel was unable to save himself until the very end. Hamel regretted his past because he was dishonest with his companions. He had the Vermouth's promise that he would defeat the demon king. Vermouth swore in the warrior's name that he would slaughter the demon kings. He was about to tell Senya that he liked her when the story abruptly cut to the present, where 13-year-old Eugene Lionhearted had just ripped a book to shreds. When he reads the book, he always gets angry. He doesn't seem pleased with the author. He doesn't understand why. At the top of the book, everyone is called the great, the wise, the faithful, and the brave, but man is called the foolish. The 13-year-old boy is essentially reincarnated as one of Vermouth, the warrior's descendants. Apart from his first wife, Vermouth had numerous concubines during his lifetime. Even though they share a surname, the only family is considered a direct line of descendants of the first wife's children. The family of Lionheart Eugene is considered an indirect branch. Before the blood succession ritual, branch families are forbidden from training their mana or using real swords. Eugene believes he broke the wooden sword the last time he used it. Eugene's father is perplexed as to how a 13-year-old boy can do this. He is sometimes afraid of him because he does not speak or act like a child. There is no innocence in those frightening eyes, and despite the fact that he lost his mother when he was a child, he never misses her. Eugene's father informed him about the upcoming blood succession ritual, which is a shitty Lionheart tradition held every 10 years. Every child between the ages of 10 and 15 from a direct lineage or a branch family gathers at the main family residence for the blood succession ritual. They compete to see who is worthy of the surname Lionheart, but unlike the branch families, those of direct lineage are allowed to use real weapons and train their mana. In short, they are simply ensuring that the branch families cannot outperform the direct lineage. Eugene's father advises him not to compete in this blood succession ritual with the children of the main family. There are 3 from the main family and 6 from the branch families. One of the 3 members of the main family is the first wife's son, and the other 2 are concubine twins. Aside from 2 from prominent branch families, the rest are just losers. Eugene believes he was not a genius in a previous life. There was someone else who was a true genius, skilled with both magic and swords, and was known as the god of war and the master of all, and that person was none other than Vermouth the Great. He was praised as a warrior until the end, while Senya, the little wench, became the youngest person in Aratha's magical kingdom. And that woman with rotten insides is known as the Saintess in the Holy Empire, founded by Uras the Moron, who named the kingdom after himself. Why couldn't they kill the demon king? Because everyone had a good life until the end. After Hamel's death, Vermouth promised the demon king incarceration. Because of that promise, the war with the demon kings came to an end, and the world experienced peace that has lasted to this day. Eugene returns to the Lionheart estate a century later. There are several warp gates nearby, but he is not authorized to use them. Eugene enters Vermouth's property and discovers that he is the only one who has yet to arrive, with the other relatives expected to arrive in 3 to 4 days. He is assigned a personal maid to take care of all of his needs. Nina is 16 years old and has recently completed her training period. Eugene suspects that the main family intends to harass him by assigning him an inexperienced maid, so he requests that Nina drive him to the training grounds. Cyan and Seal, the concubine twins, on the other hand, want to chastise Eugene. Eugene has been furiously training his new body since his reincarnation. he reveals that he has some extraordinary powers that he never had before, and his injuries heal quickly. His body is capable of feats beyond his wildest dreams. Cyan and Seal appeared from the side while he was practicing with his spear. Cyan instructed Eugene to kneel and sincerely apologize to him. Cyan believes they aren't equal simply because they are Lionheart. Cyan instructs Eugene to clean the carriage in which he arrived, and while Eugene instructs Nina to clean the carriage, Cyan believes he is disrespecting Eugene by instructing Nina. He demanded a duel. Cyan chastised Eugene, claiming that his parents had not instilled in him the value of honor. Eugene accepted the duel and threw his heavy weights to the ground. Cyan discovers that he has been training with heavy weights the entire time. If he abandons this now, Seal will mock him for the rest of his life. Eugene wins the duel when Cyan relaxes his guard. Seal believes Eugene has trained his mana because he could not swing around that heavy without it. Cyan admits to having lost to a country boy. Then Heezer appears, in charge of instructing young Cyan. Hazar inquires about Sir Jihard's family after learning that he is from the Jidal. Eugene reveals that he is Sir Jihard's son. Eugene informs Heezer that Cyan insulted his father by claiming that he was not taught honor by his father and that he was a coward. Heezer transports Cyan to the hospital for first aid. Eugene learns at the dinner table that young masters Deccan, Hansen, and Jules are scheduled to arrive tomorrow at noon. Gargis and Desira, the young masters, are also planning to arrive that evening through the warp gate. Eugene believes the blood succession ritual will begin soon. He's telling Vermouth that he'll screw over his descendants from now on. It's not like he wants to be one of his ancestors, it's just a reincarnation. Anisilla, the main family's second wife, becomes enraged after learning that his son was defeated by a child from a branch family. Eugene, she is certain, does not have any mana within his body. Seal tells her mother that Eugene stabbed Cyan with a spear as soon as the duel began, and Cyan tried to back away, but Eugene's spear was faster. Cyan was slapped by Anisilla after requesting a duel and losing to a child who lacked mana. She fears Anise will make fun of her, and how will she deal with his father? She instructs Heezer to train Cyan once more so that you never disgrace her again. She also advises Seal to make friends with Eugene because he is currently strong enough to defeat his brother. She wants to murder Eugene, but if she does, she will be the first suspect. If there is a feud within the Lionheart family, the guardians of familial law will arrive. Deccan, Hansa, and Jules, 3 boys from the branch families, arrived at the main family residence the next day. Nina informs Eugene that the patriarch has arrived. The person in front is the first wife, and the second wife, Anisilla, is next to Cyan and Seal. There is also a boy who is the eldest son of the main family and the first in the line of succession. Gillard the Lionheart has arrived, followed by his younger brother. He greets his children and the children of the branch families and invites them all to a meal to discuss the blood succession ritual. Eugene reveals that the 2 children, Gargis and Desira, have accompanied the patriarch through the warp gate to attend the blood succession ritual. He considers them to be the more prestigious members of the Lionheart branch families. There is also a guest at the table, and they later discover that he is the Roberian from Aratha's Red Magic Tower. Eugene reveals himself to be Senya's disciple. Senya rose to the position of Green Magic Tower Master at the youngest age in Aratha's history 300 years ago. She not only improves all of Aratha's spell books, but she also assists disciples of other magical towers and even the tower masters themselves. Senya is still regarded as the Great Master by the Green Magic Tower Master and the Red Magic Tower Master, Roberian. Gillard's Lionheart then asked Cyan to apologize to Eugene for losing the duel. He advised him to protect his own honor as well as the honor of others. He apologizes to Eugene because he is unaware of his father's existence. Gillard believes that the blood succession ritual will be interesting. Then they begin eating, and Gillard informs them that the purpose of the dinner is to share information about the upcoming blood succession ritual. He assures them that he wishes to assess the potential of all children bearing the Lionheart surname. The blood succession ritual exists to prove oneself as a descendant of Vermouth the Great, whether from the main family or a branch family. Roberian informs the children that this year's blood succession ritual will take place in a labyrinth he designed. Everyone will enter from a different entrance, and while they must defeat the boss monster in the middle of the labyrinth, everything that happens inside will be an illusion created by him with magic. Whatever happens in the labyrinth is not reality, rather, it is their mind playing tricks on them. If one of the 9 children defeats the boss monster, the ritual will start immediately, and each child will be assigned a point value based on their achievement. If they defeat the boss monster, they will be able to take anything from the main family's underground treasury. Eugene encounters Gargas and Desira on his way, and they wonder how he defeated Cyan Lionheart. Gargas shows him his muscles and offers him a muscle growth potion that accelerates muscle growth based on training. Despite this, there are no side effects. Desira wishes to persuade him by claiming that if he consumes the potion, he will grow a beard regardless of gender. Desira challenged Eugene to a spear fight. Eugene believes that dealing with her is less difficult than dealing with the drug dealer. He's also curious about the strength of the branch family's high-ranking children. He agreed to take on the challenge. Eugene wonders if the Gargas are the offspring of idiots. The fight begins with the challenge that whoever strikes first wins. Eugene is impressed by Desira's abilities. She is a capable fighter, and she is still young, so she has limitless room for advancement. Eugene Lionheart has won the fight. The next morning, Gargas and Eugene suggest to Eugene that they work as a team. They persuade him by claiming that while they may enter from different doors, they will end up in the same location. As a result, the boss monster is in the center of the labyrinth. Eugene questions them on why they are so determined to defeat the boss. Desira informs her that the branch line has never won in the blood succession ritual, and that they intend to defeat them this time. Anisilla, on the other hand, believes that the Red Magic Tower Master has come to take Iode as his disciple. Iode preferred moving around and being active to reading when he was younger, and he learned many different types of magic. If Iode becomes a disciple of the Red Magic Tower Master, he must leave the main family residence. Meanwhile, Cyan and Seal will mature significantly, and she will realize that if Eugene clears the labyrinth the fastest, it will be an excellent way to cover up Cyan's defeat. The blood succession ritual has finally begun 4 days later. Roberian instructs the children to create their weapons by molding the light in their minds while imagining a weapon. He also tells them that the labyrinth's weapons were both created with magic, so the sword will not break. They can create a doll or even a golem, but not a living thing. Gillard Lionheart counsels them, saying that cooperation and sound judgment are equally important for this ritual. They are the family with the surname Lionheart. Roberian gives each of the children a necklace that is linked to their minds. If they become too distressed in the labyrinth, the necklace will react to it. So it's like a safety device to prevent accidents. If they think they can't get through the labyrinth, they'll just tap on the jewel on the necklace and yell, "Help me!" They will be able to leave the labyrinth without harm. Eugene has spent a lot of time exploring labyrinths in his previous life. The fact that the ceiling is blocked off by the walls on either side makes the space quite tight. A weapon with a long reach will be difficult to use, which is why Eugene chose a sword and shield. This fundamental combination is applicable in almost every situation. Eugene, on the other hand, doubts that this labyrinth will be difficult because it is designed for children. 3 people have already failed the blood succession ritual an hour after it begins. Garga's movements are a little awkward, but he's making it through the monster just fine. When he confronts the monsters, he has no trouble defeating them. Desira takes quick action. She values escaping the labyrinth over confronting the monsters. Cyan believes their mother provided them with maps to several labyrinths prior to the blood succession ritual. Seal had learned enough strategies from those maps to avoid falling into these obvious traps. Cyan is overly cautious, but he uses his caution to avoid traps. She is rational and adaptable in her thinking, but she is also childish. Roberian believes Iode is very interested in magic. Gillard informed her that Iode had previously been taught by a mage professor from the capital whom they had invited. He asks Iode if he is still interested in magic. He will be unable to turn down the position of disciple of the Red Magic Tower. He also informs him that the Eye no longer respects Vermouth. In Vermouth's adventure, Roberian preferred Madame Senya's story to Sir Vermouth's. When her colleagues were in danger, Madame Senya always came up with brilliant solutions. Gillard informs him that neither Sir Vermouth the Great nor Madame Senya the Wise is his favorite person. They are taken aback to see Eugene has reached the boss monster. Gillard is astounded to see Eugene, who has fought valiantly. He does not freeze, but he is able to take down the troll cleanly and confidently. Roberian reveals that the trolls were not placed there for the kids to fight, rather, they were placed as a trap for them to find an opening and escape. He refers to these children as geniuses. Gargas battles a monster, only to discover that it is a troll. He's in a lot of pain. Iode, on the other hand, discovers a monster troll. He is perplexed as to why a medium-sized monster appears out of nowhere. Cyan and Seal come across each other. They started at different points, but they eventually met again, indicating that they are near the center of the labyrinth. Cyan believes he has a chance to redeem himself in front of Seal. Cyan is startled when Desira appears unexpectedly from the side. Cyan is embarrassed that he has once again exposed his unsightly side to Seal because of Desira. They begin to pursue Desira, they discover another trap, and the floor begins to collapse. Cyan has no choice but to use his mana to get around the trap. Following that, Cyan, Seal, and Desira continue to run and chase. They eventually make it to the center of the labyrinth, where they encounter the boss monster. They were taken aback to find Eugene already waiting for them. Desire inquires as to why Eugene waited for them. As he accepts Gargas and Desira's offer to help him defeat the boss monster. Eugene informs them that he has come to give them the opportunity to try it on their own. He will be able to defeat the boss monster on his own, but this will be unfair to all of them because they have achieved their goals despite many difficulties. It appears that the monster there does not attack unless they come within range of it. Eugene suggests that they fight the monster in the order in which they arrived. Desira comes first, followed by Cyan and Seal. This monster is bigger than he imagined, and it's going to be difficult for Desira. Desira doesn't want to give up now that she's come this far. She attacks the monster, only to discover that its hide is too tough for her spear to pierce. The boss monster lifts her up and throws her to the ground with his big hand. Once it was in its grasp, the battle was already over. It's now Cyan's turn to use his sword aura, which is made of mana and can cut through anything. To manifest sword aura, one must first train his mana for at least a decade. Cyan believes the sword is powerful enough to kill the monster, but he is unable to use it. The reason for this is that the blood succession ritual is used to assess the potential of those who have inherited Vermouth the Great's blood. It makes no difference whether that person is a member of the main family or a branch family. Cyan is unable to use mana to manifest the sword aura, allowing the main family and branch family to fight on equal terms. Cyan attacks the boss monster, but he can't defeat it with surface wounds alone, he must dive and aim for its legs. He dives in, but the boss monster grabs him with his big hand and throws him to the ground. Cyan was also defeated. It's now Seal's turn. Seal refuses to fight because she is unable to wield the sword aura. Eugene will fight now, and he is confident that he will win. He fights valiantly, focusing all of his attacks on the boss monster, the carotid. Eugene eventually kills the boss monster. Cyan believes he could kill the boss monster if you could use the sword aura. But he would not be able to do it, as Eugene clearly did. The blood succession ritual has concluded. Gillard is astounded to see Eugene, who comes from a branch family that hasn't even trained their mana but can fight extremely well. The blood succession ritual this time, according to Roberian, emphasizes teamwork. As a result, the children would collaborate and try various methods to bring it down. Eugene went through horse training several times, according to Gillard. He stated